Hey everybody, happy sunset musings. So there's not much of a sunset today. However, you can see a little bit of it going down behind the clouds, and possibly the clouds will become nice and purple. Sometimes they do and sometimes they don't when the sun is not available for a visual. So yeah, sorry about that. There's also quite a bit of wind today, so I don't know if you can see me. I am going to set up the camera so you can see it. I just wanted you to have a quick visual, and hopefully, is this good, you guys? Let's see. Oh, sorry. Perfection. All right. Again, not sure about the wind, so I'll keep it short today. You know, I wanted to share with you is, I don't know if you experienced that, but when you are doing really good, when you are motivated, when you have good time, like I had a patient and she always gets on this great diet, and then there comes a point where she says she broke it off. That's her thing. She broke it off, and then she gets hard on herself, and then it's hard to come back. So what happens in our life, there are natural fluctuations of life. It is so important to consider that. Natural fluctuations of life in anything. You know, the spring, summer, fall, winter, the day, the night, the sun setting, the sun rising are the basic ones. But also in our energy field as humans. This is kind of really windy, so you probably can't see much and hear much, but I'll share this with you anyway. There are actually, I'll do it so you can see a little bit of the sun over there in the background. Yeah, so what happens, Mondays oftentimes are tough days for a lot of people, not because they have to go to work, but most of us have to go to work. It's kind of a start of a day. Right now we're coming off Easter in Europe. Actually, it's Easter Monday is off, not so much in the United States, but a lot of countries do have that time off, so there's still a little bit of that transition happening. Remember, new moon transition energy is usually low versus the full moon energy is the highest. So do know that there are times, especially where you are really at a good place. Let's say you're taking care of yourself, things are going well. Things all of a sudden don't feel so good, or you don't feel so good. Do not be hard on yourself. It's just a natural, it's like the body has to, the psyche, the mind, the body, and the spirit has to almost reset to the new normal. And sometimes what we do is we kind of think, the good stuff was just a fluke and this is the norm. So don't do that. Just realize that, okay, this is the kind of the integration. Call it an integration period. And be very kind to yourself. Take care of yourself. Remember the breath. Sometimes the little things, like I actually have these tea bags with little sayings. It's going to be actually a very beautiful sky tonight, so I'll share that with you. And oftentimes, I don't know if you do, but oftentimes I wonder about the purpose of life in general, and then about what is my purpose on planet Earth. I know I help a lot of people to feel better, and I have so many patients that come and they're feeling better, and sometimes so much better, and it's like, oh, that's great. And then the question is, what is the actual purpose? Like, I know so much more is available. I know I have so much to offer as far as my knowledge, my gifts, and I feel like I want to do that on a bigger scale. And sometimes not doing that feels like I'm not fulfilling my purpose. And it's easy to have that get me down on certain days. And sometimes something as simple as a tea bag saying, like I saw, my goodness, I got this tea bag and it's saying, and I'll have to pull it out for you, so I'll post it. I took a photo of it, but it's saying, and I'll paraphrase, the purpose of life is to know yourself, is to love yourself and respect yourself and be yourself. It's as simple as that. The purpose of life is to be yourself. And when I take that and I think, wow, that really is the truth, how do I be myself, the full self, at any given point, even on the days where my being is trying to integrate and is not at its highest? And on those days, oftentimes I notice the sun actually is also hidden. Our constant of sun actually hides and is not available to kind of remind, quote unquote, remind us and remind me of the power of life per se. So sometimes things like a tea bag, a saying would be, okay, I'm right on track, I'm right on target with just being, and ultimately like doing the best I can and doing the best we all can just to be. Have you noticed sometimes it's hardest in traffic when we're driving and people in traffic are so stressed and then they beep and they do all those things? I strive for the day where I am in traffic and I can just be zen. Like Buddha said, hello, like Buddha said, the idea of us being truly connected to who we are is that we can be at peace in the middle of a supermarket, and I call that, for me it's in the middle of traffic, really. So I think sometimes remembering that the highs are really good, and I always tell patients, especially when they come for conditions that are chronic. Yeah, right. I know, Mary. Like, me too. It's like sometimes when they come from conditions when they're chronic, there is this desperate, am I ever going to be able to get well? And what I tell them, let's say we do treatment or they change their diet, and again, sorry for the wind, you guys, and then they feel better for maybe day or 2 or 3, but they feel significantly better for the day or 2 or 3, and then they kind of come back to where they were before. And I always tell them it's so important to remember and enjoy the sky for a little bit, but I tell them it's always so important to remember that the 1 or 2 or 3 days goes to show us that the body is capable of recovering. Same thing with the mind. When we can feel good, it's like the mind is able to feel good. Our being is able to feel good, even though we are not able to sustain it quite yet. The importance of, wow, I can actually feel good, I can have a good day, I can have less pain, my body can feel good. That means that whatever is happening within our organism is not a chronic pathology, that it can change. And I always need to remember that for myself including. It's again, it's so hard in today's world because we're so programmed to focus on the pain and focus on, like, our whole healthcare is about focusing on what is going wrong with the body, versus, wow, there was these 3 days where you felt so good. That means your body can get there again, and that's the thing to focus on. So I'll just kind of leave you guys with that, and let me know what you think. And I would love to hear from you, like, when you are at a place of, as I call, integration, what do you choose for your inspiration? Like, what do you have to go to? Do you take time for yourself? Do you have a book? Do you take a bath? Do you have a special tea? Like these tea bags are, I love those, really, because they always come up with something. Look at that, you guys, the sky is going to turn. The tea bags always come. So let me know what your inspiration is. I would love to hear from you, because sometimes it's so much easier if we can have that lined up ahead of time, and then when the day of integration comes, we can choose that. The other thing I want to share with you, I don't know if you felt that before, some of you have, energetically, but oftentimes, when we're more in tune with ourselves and we are more sensitive to energies, we actually feel the energies of the world. So we feel when shifts happen within the energy in general. We feel when people around us are, look at that, it looks so beautiful. It looks like a little S doesn't it? It's like almost something written. It's like S for sun. Instead of being there, it's just telling us, hey, I'm here. Do I hike in the dark? Do I hike in the dark? Me? Yes, I do. I like to hike in the dark. I oftentimes don't use flashlight because it's a whole different energy when the birds go to sleep and people are not on the trails. But I do like hiking in the dark. And when there is a full moon or a high moon, it's beautiful. It's a whole different story. But what I was saying is, just don't beat yourselves up, you guys, if you sometimes feel the energies are a little off. Like today would be one of those days where you would feel maybe a little bit off, like you can't find your center. It's partially because there's some shifts happening energetically. There's some things happening, in the structure of the world. Also April. Okay, so hear this out. So Lee is a astrologist, intuitive, and he does a lot of postings about astrology and kind of what the energies are every month. And he is sharing that this month of April is actually going to be one of the lightest months of this year. And what that means is two things, good and possibly not so good, is that there will be a lot of openings and a lot of possibilities to get things going, get things moving. I'm suspecting we're going to see some changes worldwide as it's coming, this pandemic and these vaccinations and everything. But the other thing he said, sometimes because the energy is moving so fast, it actually can be really chaotic. And it can sort of push us over the edge a little bit. And so it's really important to stay grounded on a regular basis. Do your breath, stand on the ground, do your whatever you do to keep you connected to yourselves. This is going to be an important month for us to do that. And remember, the more of us do it in the same at the same time or with the same consciousness, the more power there's to it. So if we can all connect, maybe even just over this, sun setting today, even though we don't see it, if we can say, okay, hey, we're on it. We are breathing, we are grateful, we're connected, no matter what the day, no matter what the integration, no matter what the energies of changes are happening around me. Okay, I'm going to remember that this is passing, that this is transient, and I'm going to focus on what the truth is. And let's just do that, you guys. And thank you for sharing. I really appreciate your shares here. And I'll let you enjoy a little bit more of the sky. Let me know. Feel free to post later. Let me know how things are going for you if you're experiencing any of this that I just shared. Because there is a lot of almost upheaval, but possibly a chaotic energy that is happening, or oftentimes it happens. So it's the first Monday of the month that is supposed to be much more speedy and much more moving. So we are going to be experiencing some of that. All right, you guys, I'll just leave it short today. Enjoy the rest of your evening, and I can't wait to hear from you, and all the best. Take care, and thank you for joining us as always. Many blessings to you. Big hug. Bye.